How's everyone going? They're enjoying the night, the evening? Good information. I've heard Les speak before, and last time I heard you speak, I thought I had to speak to you later and get some things tidied up. I never did it. It's a year later, I've heard him speak again, and I thought exactly the same thing. It'd be a good idea to jump on anything he's doing straight away, I think, because the next thing might be a attack. Let's just try and get this up and running. Is that switched over? Okay, now, doing something a little bit different here, I'm giving you my details first up, and I'm also giving you a link here, which is to brandlocal.com/Ryde. The reason I'm doing it is rather than answer questions, what's bound to happen tonight, I do these seminars all the time, and people have questions. What I find is the questions are fundamentally the same that I get asked, but the responses are very different. Because the responses are really, if somebody asks you how should they approach content in a certain forum, it depends on industry, it depends on what they're doing, and it also depends on what their story is and how they're trying to market their business, because content dovetails in with brand. So rather than kind of holding everybody up tonight with answering questions, if you go to brandlocal.com/Ryde and put your contact details in there, and what I do after the seminar, if you register within a 24-hour period, I will call you back personally, or I'll have one of my team call you back and schedule a meeting time, or we can have a bit of a chat on the phone, and I can have a look at what you do and give you some advice that is actually relative to what you do. Okay, that link down the bottom right-hand corner there will be there throughout the presentation. Okay, what do I do? Well, I'm a content producer and a media buyer. I've been doing it for 25 years, and I stretch across online, print, outdoor, TV and radio. That is a lot of experience, I guess, in terms of content development, but people's behaviours are fundamentally the same across those platforms. So it's given me that understanding of how people behave and react to content. I have spoken to Google before. I was invited to speak on some of the topics that I will discuss today. I'm a YouTube and video specialist, so I specialise heavy in video content. I'll explain in this presentation why video, every business needs to understand video. Video is really going to be the currency or the communication platform that everybody needs to learn to use. And if you don't, it's not a matter of that you're just not going to build trust, you're not going to be seen online. I was a celebrity and talent manager, so I've actually negotiated with large TV networks and large media companies in terms of from a talent's perspective, which gives me a very good understanding of both sides, I guess, at the table. I'm a council-endorsed educator, so I talk with different councils. And I'm a small business owner. I've owned different businesses, from media businesses through to cleaning companies, so I understand how, from an intimate basis, what the struggles of business and small business have. And obviously I've spoken to thousands of businesses through the seminars. Brand local is positioned, I guess, in a little bit of a different space to probably what you're used to. I guess there's SEO. Does everyone know what SEO means? Anyone know what SEO means? Okay, search engine optimization. It gets good results, but it has a bad rep, and it's because some of the practices in SEO don't work anymore, but companies still press those practices, and they can actually hurt you in Google. So because of that, SEO does get a bad rap, but SEO in the right place is good. Content is where things are going. It's the creative. I guess what I always say is that really ranking or visibility online or engagement and conversion is handed from the technical, which is the SEO, is now shifting to the creative. And this is where a lot of businesses struggle, because the need to feel creative. I mean, everyone's had a problem where they think, what am I going to post today? I'll just post that, or I'll repost that. So the creative element is what a lot of businesses struggle with. We sit really in the middle. What we do is we pull the levers from both sides. We'll pull the SEO levers of what actually work, and we'll pull content across, and we'll use content as a ranking mechanism to get visibility through social search and whatnot. What I'll cover today will be building your authority online. This is very important. And building your authority in Google. I noticed on the slide, I think it was very small, the amount of people that wanted to know about Google My Business in the first survey. I'll talk about how that's the fundamental starting position for Google, but Google's 97% of search. So if you really want to be visible online, particularly in the mobile space, which is growing, Google is where the search is at in Google Maps. And you really want to build authority through those areas. I'm going to discuss how that happens. Online structure, I'll discuss how you should structure yourself online. I think Jan said that it was 80% of businesses still haven't, or they're not using digital media. The stats are pretty overwhelming when you look at 17.5 million people, I think, is on Facebook, out of 24 million people in Australia, and people aren't using that platform, the free platform in many cases. So small businesses aren't utilising the opportunities and the free opportunities that are available, and this blows my mind because people want to be on page one of Google, but fundamentally they're not doing a lot of things right. These are things that are available. If you take advantage in your field, in your industry, in your geographical location, if you take advantage of these things, you'll dominate. It's as simple as that. So we get companies in and we show them how to do things, and they dominate quickly. But they're basic fundamentals. And the issue is that what a lot of people are sold is they're sold in funnels, or they're sold, I should say, in silos. So what they've done is they're sold either a web solution or a content solution, or solutions are all siloed, and someone specialises in these areas, but they may branch out a little bit. But they get advice, and most of the advice is based on someone selling them something. So small businesses really they've spent money, they've got burnt, and they're not really utilising, or they're not looking further beyond. They start to get discouraged. So we'll go through that. The importance of local listings, we'll talk about that today as well. The local listings are very important to your authority in Google, how you are ranked or how you are listed in local directories. Most small businesses have no idea what directories you are in, and unless you've done a citation report, you wouldn't have a clue. If your information is inconsistent across different directories, you'll rank lower in Google, so we'll talk about that. Managing reviews is very, very important. If you look through online at small business, the amount of reviews that they have, how they manage those reviews, there's a certain way to do it. We'll talk about that, it's very important. The correct approach to content, we'll talk about that. I saw that was popular, and why video is changing everything. So let's get started. Okay, trust. Does everyone understand that what Google actually is looking for from a business is it wants to trust you? And there's a little story. I took my young bloke to I was going to the motor registry, he was going to give him his boat licence. He was on crutches. I looked up Google Maps, and Google sent us to the wrong place. Now, if that happens enough, people will stop using Google. If people stop using Google, Google's ability to say that 97% of search falls, Google's AdWords revenue falls, and it's all because people can't trust what is on Google. You can imagine every time you go to Google and you try and find something and you can't guarantee the information is correct, you stop using it. So Google pushes that back on a business. It turns around and says, I want to trust your information. So what Google does is it uses a whole lot of things to aggregate, to go through to find out whether or not it can trust you. It'll compare your details across different places online to make sure it's consistent, and also looks at people using or engaging in your content to make sure that it validates and you're popular and everything checks out. If that does, it will show you and display you as a higher ranking in Google. Simple. Value. We've spoken about, I guess, the trust in your information. Google also has to value your content. The internet doesn't work if there's no content. People online are searching Google for content. If your content is not of value, Google won't show it. So you imagine if someone searches for something and something comes up and you go, well, that's not really good, it's crappy, right? I didn't really want that. And then something else comes out and you go, this is wasting my time. So if you haven't got valuable content, you will not show high. How does Google rank or rate your content as being popular or being relevant? Is it actually looks through and looks at people engaging. So Google can now look at the type of content you have, it can read your content. It can measure whether it's relevant in terms of the actual image or the video is relative to the content search. And it can also support that with if it's relevant in terms of what people are searching, what they're searching next, and how people are engaging in content. Content is starting to rule everything. If you're not good at content, you've got problems. So this is where everything is moving to, and this is what people need to understand, and this is what I'm really going to hammer on today. Your content needs to be popular, it needs to be relevant, it needs to be current, and it needs to be unique. So it's kind of really not a good thing to be using stock images because Google can go through and can track that image appears in multiple places. Another thing, I had a discussion with a business and they wrote the front page of their website. They wrote all the copy themselves, they took hours and hours to do it, they were really proud of it, they wrote it 3 years ago. I said to them basically the text on your website is plagiarised, the text has been copied, it's across the internet, therefore it's not unique content, Google ranks it down. And I got a pretty heavy reception, right? They wrote it themselves, went to a lot of trouble. The fact is, I wrote it a couple of years ago, so different directories and different local sites had scraped that information, used it and duplicated it. Even though they didn't duplicate it, someone else did, it's still copied. Okay? So stock images, cutting and pasting things off other sites, you want your content to be unique. There's tools you can use. You can actually type copy and you can post it, or you can hit a button and it'll go through and it'll measure that and it'll tell you the level of uniqueness of your content. You should be doing that regularly. So copywriting is as important as images and video. Mike, just come on. Why do you want to be, I guess, on your game to Google? Because of the search and the move to mobile, and the need to be in this 3-step or 3-pack. sits in search. You can see that the use, if you look in here in star ratings, why they're so important, we'll get to that. But people will only really look at, you'll talk about the first page of Google, people won't scroll and scroll and scroll on phones. So you have a limited opportunity on mobile phones, the real estate shrinks, you need to be on your game. The good news is most businesses aren't on their game, so if you really want to dot your I's, cross your T's, you can get there. It's not hard, it's not expensive. I see that many businesses spending money on AdWords, to be honest. They need to get the fundamentals in place, and what I'll show you today. Okay, so this is the house. I usually scribble this on a bit of paper in most meetings that I do to explain to people how you should set up your structure. You can see it's building from the base foundation up, so what's down the bottom is the most important. It's the foundation of the house. If you don't have the foundations properly set up, the structures and everything don't work. So, to put it in a very simple way, is that the Google My Business is number one. I know a lot of people have set up Google My Business, and we'll talk about that a little bit today. But Google My Business needs to be set up and it needs to be optimised, not just set up, not just claimed. It needs to be optimised. That is your listing on the largest search engine in the world. When Google compares your information, it compares it against that listing. If that listing is not set up correctly, then Google is comparing something that's incorrect or incomplete against other things, and you're really behind the eight ball. Free. YouTube. Most businesses aren't on YouTube. Put up your hand if you're not on YouTube. YouTube is owned by Google. It's the second largest search engine in the world, and Google influences your search ranking in Google search. So, utilising video as a premium content, also on YouTube's platform, is very important. We speak to people about creating videos. Where should they put the videos? I say, we'll put it on Facebook. That's great. But you should also put it on YouTube because it's a ranking element. And by going onto YouTube, Google looks at it and says, we'll give a lot of credibility to that being on YouTube. And I'll talk about citations and rankings and things a little later on. But by putting every video you do on YouTube, you actually push up your ranking authority in Google as well. So YouTube is really important. Listing and citations. You just put up your hand if you haven't heard of citations. Citations are very, very important. As I said before, they're the directory listings. I'll show you a simple citation report you can do to audit citations, and something you should do every 3 to 6 months. You have no control over who takes your information online and duplicates it. And when they duplicate it, they usually duplicate it incorrectly. So Google will get right down to the point of ST and street. So what I say to clients is to get yourself a citation format which is consistent all across the web, not just in directories, but on your social media, obviously in your search profile, social media, YouTube account, landing pages and so on. Google can see all that. Web and landing pages. I think the last statistic I looked at was around 35–36% or something of businesses had a website, which is pretty compelling really. Is there anyone here that doesn't have a website? I'll put the hand up now. You need a website. You haven't got one, right? You need one. Because it builds domain authority, and everything I'll show you through this is pushing back to your website. All your sales, all your data, everything you're capturing should be coming back through a website. If you sell through social media, you come back to a landing page. You control everything there, get the user into that area and capture their details. That's where you do business. Web pages, landing pages don't need to be that expensive, but they need to be built to Google best practice, which is not hard. It's not hard. You just need to know the right way and the wrong way is just as hard as one another. Social media, we'll go through that. That's the next level up. Most people are starting at social. Believe it or not, a lot of people seem to start with a simple landing page and go straight to paid ads. That can work in some instances. But if you work the foundations up from Google, your Google My Business listing, YouTube, your listing and citations, web and landing pages, if you just get that part, most businesses haven't got that part right. And what I always say, if you get it right, you dominate. So we've worked with local businesses. The first thing I do when I work with the local businesses, I get, tell me all your competitors. And all you need to do is look at all the competitors and say, can you quote me to get me up in the search engine at the top of the search engine, right? It's different for every business. So what we do is we look at all the competitors and we say, well, they're not doing this and this and this, so it's only going to cost you about $500, right? But if it's harder, it's going to cost them $5,000. It all depends on what your competitors are doing. Most competitors in this space are not doing it right. And now's the opportunity. And by ranking high, you too get momentum as well. So getting in early and doing it earlier gives you momentum through. Okay, I guess just to recap why we go into that order is the largest search engine in the world, 97%, Google first, second largest Google. 84% of people use local listings to find local products and services. So usually I sit in a meeting and I say, what about your local listings? And they go, I don't know, Yelp, what's Yelp? I get that a lot. And True Local, I know what True Local is, and Census, and that'll tell you that you need to be in there, right? But Yelp is probably one of the most important ones to be in. We'll go through that because Yelp is Google uses Yelp to verify its listings. Explain that. Okay, so we're going to focus in this area. I'm not going to go into paid ads, so we'll be here for another half an hour on the strategy around that. There's a lot of stuff that businesses or small businesses can do that is in this area, so this is where we're going to focus. You notice on the sides there is the pillars that's holding everything up, is content and engagement. And they're the two pillars that hold everything up to build authority through search and authority online. Okay, so let's start with Google My Business. Google My Business is your free listing on the largest search engine in the world. What I'll show you is what a listing is that's not claimed, just in case you haven't claimed or you're not sure. See down here, own this business. If that shows on your listing, you haven't claimed it. If I go and claim that, and I'm your competitor, I'll park it. And you won't open it. Unless you want to sit on, you think Telstra's bad, getting on the phone talking Telstra. You will not turn around with Google, it's very difficult. Same thing is if you go and you think, well, that's okay, someone's parked it and create a duplicate listing. If you create a duplicate listing, that's even harder. Because what Google turns around and says they're playing funny buggers, they put two listings up. Right? And it actually will blacklist you there as well. So there's risks associated. If you do have double listings, you need to talk to someone who knows what they're doing and get rid of it. You can permanently close listings and things like that, but the problem is if you have duplicate listings and someone goes and looks for your business as permanently closed, they go to permanently closed on a competitor. It's got to be handled properly. This is what it looks like when it's closed. I don't know if you can see this, but a permanently closed listing, if your competitors see that, it's not good. I'll just give you an idea here where you can sit in the aquarium. You talk about the content that can go onto your listings. Video adding to the listings here. What Google's trying to do is it's trying to create the experience, the user experience here without them having to go anywhere else. They can get all their information here in search. And you'll find that as Google expands this and makes this better, you'll find less and less people will move out of search and go anywhere else. They'll make decisions here. They can make all the decisions on what they call the knowledge graph, which I showed you before. This bit here, the other side, the knowledge graph. So you've got to pay, everyone pays attention to Instagram and Facebook, and again, you talk to businesses and they're on Instagram and Facebook and they're posting 3 posts a day, and they've got it all up to date. Then you look at their Google listing, they've got 4 photos. So you've got to post it there as well. So it's not only what you do, it's where you post it. And you've got Google over here, this massive search engine, who's basically deciding whether it's going to rank you in mobile search, which is up over 50%, which is obviously going to climb. That you're just not even going to appear, you're going to vanish there. So you need to post your stuff onto the Google platform as well. The videos or the photos need to be there. And again, when Google talks about relevance, it's got relevance and update and uniqueness. It all needs to apply on their platform as well. Just a little bit about reviews here on the platform too. You want to drive reviews on the platform. Most people struggle. I'll talk to you a little bit about how the best way to handle reviews is when you get reviews. The 49 reviews. People are driven by reviews. We all have this 5-star system, you know, old NRMA, camping directory, everything was a 5-star thing. Everyone, we work off this 5-star mentality, and it's a massive influence online. So particularly on here, this should be your shining star, your Google listing, your Google profile. I can guarantee that most businesses that are active online and doing things right have left this. Even the good ones forget this, which doesn't make sense. Okay. So obviously you get your own management console, so if you get reviews, you can answer the reviews on the spot. If you've got your mobile, it comes through and tells you someone's left a review. You can go in through obviously your console here and you can manage your photos and manage all your things. If you go into here, you will notice that it has a YouTube panel. It's got reviews, it's got analytics, and it's got YouTube panel. You can manage all your analytics related to YouTube through here. It's all interconnected, and that's why you need to be on YouTube. Okay. You need to be on YouTube. This is the slide, right? Listing and citation. So, look, if I sat people in the room and asked them what local directories they know, some there may be some crossover there. People don't really understand the importance of the online directories. I'm just going to show you this as a citation report. We do sample. It's a relatively expensive thing to do. It's definitely worth its weight in gold, but it will go through and it will tell you where you should be, where you're not. And it also can give a competitor analysis as well, what your competitors are doing. But if you look in here, you'll notice this thing down here. If you look here, see this citation authority? You got 32, 42, Let's look at Facebook. This is what Google says. This is how much we trust this business, basically, or this directory. So, there's YouTube, 100, obviously. So what happens if your information on YouTube is not there? You haven't added it. What about Facebook? If your information on Facebook's wrong? And I reckon half the room would be different. That's what we see. Different highway, HWY, different formatting, /this, different. Google doesn't understand that, or it's smart, but it says it's different. Yelp, 94%, basically in trust. You're not on Yelp, business are listing correctly on Yelp, Google says, well, are they even real? So it verifies. If you're on Yelp and you want to set up a Google My Business listing, it's that way now that Google will actually verify for Yelp. And Google's now putting in verification companies to verify because it costs taking them too much time to verify is that business real, because there's a lot of people playing tricks as well. So they'll work with, they've done some tests in the US, they work with councils to do verifications. They'll go to people and bodies they trust to say, can you please verify this is a legit business? It's huge. They're using these directories. So it's important that your information in these directories is correct. Massive, massive thing. This is just showing you here, Cafe Capo, Highway. Reviews. As discussed before, reviews are really important. They're not just important on Google, but they're important on everything. They're important on your website. They're important in local directories. And you've got to put the yards in to get the reviews. It pays off. So the importance of reviews is that just basically people are influenced by reviews. If you really think of your own behaviour, I'm amazed when I sit with businesses and I sort of say, think about your own behaviour. They go, oh yeah. But in small business, we're so busy and we're like, buy my stuff, get this thing, get it out. So we talk from one side of the table so much that when it's interesting to question small businesses from their own consumer habits and their consumer behaviours, that they get this oh-yeah moment of how they're actually promoting things. And if you have this trust element, this social proof element is massive online. So the approach to getting reviews. One thing, don't set a computer up in your business, if you're a hairdresser or something like that, that's been done before. And everyone walks in, gets a haircut, and Sally turns around and says, oh, before you go, can you give me a review? You know, it sounds like a good idea, but you've got heaps of reviews, but you also got blacklisted off Google. Because all the reviews were coming off the same IP. So they think it's her doing it. It's cheeky, right? Google knows too where people are doing reviews on Facebook and how the reviews are all. If you measure Google like that, you can measure it all. What I find is the best thing to do in reviews, because you're not supposed to say, if you give me a review, I'll give you a free lunch. You're not going to do that. If you found to do that and there's complaints made, you get blacklisted off Google. The way to do it is when somebody uses your service, you send them an email. And you say to them, what do you think of the service? Just give them a couple of lines of feedback on what you thought. Was it good? Was it that? Seeded a little bit. They'll turn around and I'll answer it. Then what you do is get that email back, flick them an email back and say, that's really good, I'm glad you wrote that. Sounds great. Do you mind if we put that into a review? And they'll go, no problem. And then what you do is cut and paste the links to your Google profile, your Facebook, your this, your that. And they just have to click, cut and paste, click, cut and paste. And then what you do is put it in your diary of your sales team or something from them. That's their job. The sale hasn't ended, or the responsibility of sales has not ended until the review is in place. This is the way that we advise to do it. The other thing too is if you get a bad review, don't panic. We had a company recently that we dealt with, and someone said that the boss was an idiot or something. So the boss rang him up and said, and threatened him. Basically, if you don't take that thing off. You know. So then the guy went back on, and he told everyone that the boss threatened him. It doesn't look good. I walked in and went, can you work it out? No, you should have rang us. You don't do that. Every argument or everything is an opportunity to build a relationship, if not with that person, with everybody else. This guy absolutely looked like a tool, to be honest. If you read what he wrote in the first one, he looked like he just was an emotional rant. And that was a great opportunity to turn around, take a breath and go back and just explain that this is the situation, that is that, you're doing this. It looks good. So it's an opportunity. No one really believes reviews, and we've done surveys on it, no one really believes reviews that are all 5-star. No. They don't believe it. Hasn't got as much authenticity. So even, I don't advise going and throwing a crappy review or anything, but you'll get them naturally. If you're doing things, you'll get a few. They won't say crappy 3 or 2 or whatever. I'll get a few 1s or whatever. But it's how you handle it. Because everybody likes it. If you look at one review, they'll read it and they'll read the response. People like the drama, I don't know. So there's a great opportunity for you to build a relationship, build a bridge. Okay. Web and landing pages. I don't really want to get into this because this is huge, and it's all about building a Google best practice. There's a few things there that you can photograph, and you probably wonder what half of those things are, but you want to make sure that you're building a Google best practice. Websites are very important in terms of building your authority. So if anyone wants to say anything to that. And social. Everyone says, what social should I be on? Is bigger better? I was actually going to write on there, it's not how big it is, it's what you do with it. And I thought that might be good. So, and it's true, but it's not how big it is, it's what you do with it. The fact is, can any business in here handle 60,000 customers or 60,000? So if you can do it well on that platform, do it well on that platform. If Facebook's not your thing, don't do Facebook. Be present on Facebook, have some reviews on Facebook, have a basic shell, business, we're time poor in small business, have a basic shell of your information, who you are, have a presence. Look real, look like we're trading, we're in business. All your times, your hours and everything's set. But don't go nuts with your content. And the thing is too, this Hootsuite stuff and people just get content and go everywhere. Don't do that. Post things individually, take the time to post it and put things on it. You can tell that people do that. To me, I love Instagram. Just, I like it. And I like to post to it, it fits who I am, it fits what I do. And if you can do it well, do it. But because if someone goes, I'll go on Facebook, it's 17 million, it doesn't matter. I have a presence on Facebook, do Facebook, but for me it's Instagram. Flow and energy. So in small business, really the key is to get these bottom things done and done well. The web and landing pages, everything pushes to that. Set something up that lands. Social, make a decision on what you want to do. Paid ads, I wouldn't even really consider it, but sure, do it, but don't do it at the expense of not having the fundamentals in place. Because it'll only, what you do with your paid advertising and pushing people to it, it's an accelerator, but you fill a bucket with holes in it and stuff leaks out as well. So you just, it's only 2-3 days to get all that stuff worked out. So let's talk about content and engagement. I like this one because to the naked eye, you probably can't tell the difference between those. They're two places near where I live, and I go to both of them. Can you tell the one that outsources its content? It's one on it's on the left, right? Anyone can tell. What's actually happening here is they're just going to an outside company in the tackle shack, and they're just saying, put anything up. They're posting, they're not sharing. The idea with content is to share your content. To say, this is a bit about our business. I know it's food, and it's mouth-watering, but people connect with food, people connect with people. So you can also be on there, you can put videos on Instagram, you can put things that people want to connect with. That's the idea, is to build a connection. People connect with people. People still buy from people. They might buy from large companies, but they still buy from people in those large companies in the most part. So do what you really want to do, and I'll show you here, I'll just show you the difference. I try to pick two businesses that are the same, but if you look at this, so this is the Tackle Shack, and let's just go over it. So you look at 30 likes. Now they've both got, one's got 1879 followers, the other one's I think 2100. There's not a massive difference between them, but so they've got 30 likes, one comment, 23-0, 38-0, 61-1, one comment, 0 comments. It kind of goes, that's the pattern, it's filled. If Google looks at this, they go, it's not popular, the content's not of value, the content they post, no one really rates it. So this is just giving an illustration, and you know, I'm not one to sort of pick dramatic differences because life's not like that either, like in the real world. There's not a massive difference. Look at this, 72-0, okay, 104-1, 131. The numbers are bigger. I know they've got 23, it's a little bit different. But when you start getting down to here, right, you get 2, you get 7, you get 12, 5, 130. The likes are much higher, and the comments, and then I'll talk to you about comments interaction a little bit later in this, but I didn't want to sort of say, here's this guy doing this one, here's this one heaps better. They're kind of in the same space. This company, the Tackle Shack's got awesome food, it's got good food, but none of it's on there. Because the person that's posting the information is not even at the business. So they're not sharing the day-to-day, they're not sharing the experience. They're out here posting something because they're getting paid to do it. There's no emotional connection, they don't understand their product. Outsourcing social media, you can outsource some of it, you can outsource the heavy lifting, but you still need to be, someone in your business needs to be assigned with the task of building that connection, because you can tell. But if you go down here, you will see, and I won't bore you with it, but you will see, like, you know, 156, 17, 7, 11. But when you talk about engagement of 0 to 12, what that's actually doing is the actual impact that that has is massive. It's only like 12 to nothing, right? When you're with 0 and 12, it doesn't sound a big difference. But when you add this up over time, this is a massive difference. And this is happening here. If people like this on Instagram, they're going to like it on Facebook, they're going to like it on Google+, and they're sure as hell going to like it on the Google profile as well. So this is all manifesting in all different areas because of the type of content they're producing. So just be very careful about sending things out. It's a bit sort of stock imagery kind of mentality. Okay. The 5 steps of influence. Most people just think I'd get followers and likes and things like that, but it's quite interesting when you look at it that most people will observe, they'll view a conversation, but they won't follow. And you probably notice that with your Facebook friends. You've all got Facebook friends that you post things for 5 years and they never say anything. They actually see your content, but they don't engage. That's fine. So, following on one or more social channels, engaging, you can read the rest of yourself, endorsing and contributing. We want people to endorse and contribute and share. And that's what's happening when I showed that example before. They're contributing to the content. They're not just liking, they're commenting. So when they turn around and say, awesome, loved it here, oh, that's my favourite, that's like a review. This is all going into the ethos. So, video. Video is my absolute 100% favourite because of what it does. I don't look at content as a content developer, I look at content as a number of values. I always look at content from the perspective of, does this content boost or optimise my listing? And when I talk about optimisation, I can talk optimisation in the context of saying that it'll boost my visibility because the content is premium content, it's unique content, highly engaged, Google ranks me higher. So that gives me more visibility. If you look at the compounding factors of this, over time. So I have content that Google ranks higher, right? I'm on social media, people like and share it. So I've got echo effect, I've got reach. So my content goes to these people, but then it also gets shared out to there. So I'm getting further visibility of my content. So the content has the ability to reach more people, that's the first part. And the second part is that your content also has the ability to convert people. So if you can double your reach and double your conversion, that's the sort of compelling way that you should approach content. And looking at metrics and analytics helps you to do that. And you understand, by looking at content, what works and what doesn't. But content should